Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
You've all heard about the listing of Masood Azhar, the founder and head of Jaish-e-Mohammed, Pakistani terrorist organization, as a globally acknowledged and listed terrorist by the UN. This is an achievement, a diplomatic victory for India, also an achievement for Modi government. That has to be acknowledged without any qualifications. The question is, how much of a big deal do you make of it in terms of what it means for India's fight against terror? Diplomatically, it's a big thing also because India persuaded China to lift its veto. Now, you might say that India made concessions to China, but diplomacy is all about negotiations and concessions and give and take. So, that I am not grudging or I'm not so bothered about. But what does it mean? Does it aid India's fight against terrorists or does it make India more secure? So, let me try and answer this very cluttered question or declutter what probably can't be decluttered in 10 minutes or thereabouts. But I will try and then in conclusion draw some questions and some answers. So, to understand what exactly this UN listing is, in case you are interested to get more detail, I would request that you just go to Google, go to any browser and search United Nations 1267 list and internet will throw up for you a website un.org/SC, that is Security Council /committees/1267, and you will then find the entire list of people, persons and organizations listed by the entire world as global terrorists. When you see that, you will now, as it's updated, you will also find Masood Azhar occupying that pride of place there. But you will notice something there. And the thing that you will notice is, one, that a very large number of these organizations and entities and individuals happen to be based in Pakistan. I can run the whole laundry list and I'll try and do it quickly, but as I mined the list, we found about 20 of these organizations: Al-Qaeda, Babbar Khalsa, that's an Indian organization, Baluch Liberation Army, Harkatul Jihad-e-Islami, Huji, Harkatul Mujahideen, Hizb-e-Islami, that is Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, who's now seen to be a nice guy. He wants to be the president of Afghanistan if the Taliban come to power there. He's actually also personally designated as a global terrorist. There is, and all based in Pakistan, International Sikh Youth Federation, Islamic Jihad Group, Islamic Jihad Union, Lashkar-e-Taiba, very familiar to us in India, the Taliban, Jaish-e-Mohammed, again very familiar to us in India, Harkatul Ansar, Lashkar-e-Jabbar, Muttahida Jihad Council, MJC, Haqqani Network, which is more a headache for Pakistan, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, again a headache for Pakistan of their own creation, Jamaatul Dawa, big trouble for us, Fateh-e-Insaniyat, Harkatul Jihad al-Islami, Jamaatul Ahrar, and I bet there will be more and there will be more that may have morphed or that may have broken up like an amoeba does. That is how terrorist organizations work. Now, the fact is that this list has been there forever. In fact, if you look at Jaish-e-Mohammed was first listed as a global terror organization on 17th October 2001. In 2011, this status was amended in December 2011, sort of oddly on the 9th anniversary of Parliament attack in India, which was also a handiwork of the Jaish. Before that, the big attack they carried out was the bombing of the J&K assembly in Srinagar, which led to a lot of killings, and then that was around time that it was first designated a global terrorist organization. Lashkar-e-Taiba has been a global terrorist organization and many of its leaders, Zafar Iqbal, Zakiur Rahman Lakhwi, Yahya Mujahid, and not to forget its chief Hafiz Saeed, have been globally designated terrorists now for 11 years. All of them were designated on 10th of December 2008. You remember 26th November or so, or around those 72 hours were the attacks in Bombay. which were traced to Lashkar-e-Taiba, and in response to those, because India was very angry and the world opinion was furious, these people were put on the list of global terrorists. Now, a short point is, nothing has happened to them in all this while, nothing. Their movement has not been curbed in Pakistan. Okay, they can't travel overseas. Maybe some funding from overseas has become difficult, but their home is in Pakistan. Their support base is in Pakistan. Their manpower, their recruits come all from Pakistan. It's very rare. In fact, in my memory, hardly any Afghan, if at all, who might have come to India or to any part of India, including Kashmir, and done any harm to us. It's always the Pakistanis. So, just being put on the UN list doesn't cripple them. They can only be crippled if the Pakistani state, which is essentially the army, is compelled to act against them, neutralize them, charge them with crimes, or at least make them completely non-functional and ineffective in terms of their potential to cause terrorism in India. It hasn't happened yet. In fact, if anything, Pakistani establishment has tried very hard to normalize, to mainstream these people, to let them change the names of their organizations, to avoid global bans also, and to help them. Essential problem there is that the Pakistani establishment treats these organizations as its force multipliers. They treat them as regiments of the Pakistani army in Mufti, with manpower which is purely expendable. They don't care how many young people who recruit for Jaish-e-Mohammed or for Hafiz Saeed's Lashkar-e-Taiba come to India and get killed. Those are completely expendable, wasteful or wastable lives. Nobody feels sorry for them. Their families don't get their bodies. They might get a little compensation, but not like soldiers. That helps, enables the Pakistanis to fight this war with India without risking the lives of their own soldiers, which they value, but they don't value the lives of this flotsam of their society that these organizations pick up. So, the ban is a big symbolic victory. It's a big change and a welcome development that the Chinese have lifted their veto. Will it help India fight terrorism? Evidence tells us that no, it will not happen unless the Pakistani state decides to break off from these people, and there is no evidence that they will do that. So yes, we know that governments need headlines. Modi government in particular loves to create headlines and revels in them. So this is a headline. It's also a headline that will work in the elections. Beyond that, substantively, I'm afraid it means zilch. Because if bans could kill terrorists, there will be no terrorists left in the world. You go to that UN list, 1267 list, you will find every terrorist whose name you've heard, from ISIS, Al-Qaeda. In Pakistan itself, more organizations, Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, for example, I found one worthy from Lashkar-e-Jhangvi there, Mian Mohammad Ishaq, many others from these other organizations in Pakistan, but nothing happens to them unless you can cut their umbilical cord or their supply bridge or their support base within the local establishment. So that puts this in perspective, and this also gives me the opportunity to tell you that India has been through this exercise before. In 2011, in 2001, on 13th of December, when Parliament was attacked, and Vajpayee's India reacted very sharply, and Parakram began, and Indian forces were piled on the borders, and there was a warlike situation. And there was a global effort at peacemaking. So that government, in fact Mr. Advani, produced a list of 22 terrorists who he said were in Pakistan and in control of Pakistan's agencies. And Government of India told the Pakistanis, if you want to show your goodwill, turn over these 22 people to us. And in fact, there was panic in Pakistan at that point. Musharraf made a very panicky speech in January, I think 12th January or 13th January 2002, where he said, go play that speech, it's available on YouTube. he said in that speech that India has given us this list of 22 people. Our own citizens, of course, we will not give to them, but many of these people they have named are their citizens. So if any of those are found here, they are not our, we haven't given them asylum. If those are found here, we will turn them over to India. The fact is, nothing of the sort happened. Nobody was stopped in Pakistan, nobody was properly prosecuted in Pakistan, and nobody was sent to India. Now, because it was 17, 18 years back, just to jog your memory, I will read that list of the famous or infamous 22 that India gave to Pakistan, people that India wanted. And you will know how many of them are still people that India wants. There is Muhammad Yusuf Shah, Hizbul Mujahideen, Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Maulana Masood Azhar, usual suspect, Abdul Karim Tunda, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Muhammad Masood Azhar, also Jaish-e-Mohammed, Muhammad Ibrahim Athar Alvi, Zahur Ibrahim Mistri, Shahid Akhtar Saeed, Shakir Mohammed, Azhar Yusuf, our very own Dawood Ibrahim, never to forget. In fact, if you go to the UN listing, you will find about 10 or 12 aliases listed against his name. Chota Shakil, Sabir Ali Sheikh, Abdul Razak, Ishaq Atta Hussain, Tiger Memon, Tiger Ibrahim Abdul Razak Memon, Ayub Memon, you remember Yaqub Memon who was hanged, same family. And then you have 4 old Khalistani terrorists. There is Paramjit Singh Panjwar, Khalistan Commando Force. There is Vadhava Singh, Babbar Khalsa International, Lakbir Singh Rode. Rode is the village that Bhindranwale came from, by the way. Gajinder Singh of Dal Khalsa and Ranjit Singh Neeta of Khalistan Zindabad Force. So all these people are in Pakistan, having been dragged close to war more than once with India. Pakistan has refused to give up any of these, even though Musharraf once made a promise that he will at least turn over the Indian citizens among them. Why? Because even these Indian terrorists, Dawood Ibrahim of course is a Pakistani direct asset, but even these Khalistanis are people that Pakistan holds in reserve for use against India as and when possible. And that's why you find that suspicions, say for example on Kartarpur Sahib corridor come in, because Pakistan on their committee then puts people who are sort of Khalistan supporters within Pakistan and all patronized by Pakistani agencies. So once again, as you can see, good achievement to get China to lift its veto and to have Masood Azhar declared a global terrorist. Will it make any difference to the fight against terrorism? No. Will it bother Masood Azhar for 1 second? No. He's much too thick-skinned, plus he knows nothing will happen to him. Pakistani army will protect him. Will it persuade Pakistan's army and ISI to give up on these assets, quote unquote, or to realize that these assets have become liabilities at a time when their economy is completely in the shambles? My humble answer, unfortunately, is no. It's a good headline for Modi government. It's also better for them because it's come in the middle of the election season. But remember, this fight against terror is serious business. So, remember all this detail. If you are more interested, you can go and research. Everything is available on Google now. There are no secrets in this business. That's the reason I thought I'll bring you these details and try and declutter the perspective for you. I hope I've been able to do it, and I do hope also that you keep watching our YouTube channel. We are adding new features almost on a weekly basis in English and in Hindi. So please do tell your friends, family, others to subscribe. Please do spread the word. We do classical, old-fashioned, factual journalism.